The way to talk to your parents about getting a sport bike, what I would do is do a little bit of research on it. And I know the dreaded 250, everybody hates it, blah blah blah, but at the same rate, whenever you tell your parents, oh, you know, I'm looking at getting a 250 instead of a 600, that's gonna help a lot. Before you come to your parents with that though, look up price, like look up insurance, look up tires, look up everything you possibly can about bikes, like money wise, because that's a big deal in any vehicle. Your first vehicle, your second vehicle, I don't give a fuck, your 98th vehicle, you know? I mean, money has a lot to do, especially if you're gonna come to your parents with it and ask them, hey, can you guys buy me a car? You know, money's gonna have a lot to do with it. If you're, and again, if you're buying your first vehicle, don't buy a sport bike. No. Don't start on a sport bike unless if you've had dirt bike experience, or that's actually about it. Unless you have dirt bike experience, don't start on a dirt bike or a sport bike, or even a dual sport. Or this goes to really any two-wheeled vehicle for your first, especially if you're asking your parents. If you're asking your folks for money to buy it, or asking them to support you, I guess more support the bike, then this is the guide you want to listen to. Or at least my take on how you get your parents to buy you a bike. And like I said, I didn't have to go through this because I was an adult when legally I'm an adult, mentally I'm probably not. What I would do is, like I said, price out a 250, and then give your parents some 250 numbers. Give them the insurance on it. Give them give them tire prices. Give them all that stuff on a 250, and give them prices of used 250s. Don't buy a new bike for your first bike. That's just stupid. Offer up 250 numbers. Tell them, hey mom, hey dad, I know I know you guys care, blah blah blah, but I've been thinking about it, and I want to get a sport bike, or a Harley, or a dual sport, or a dirt bike, or whatever, street legal dirt bike, I guess, in this case. Whatever. And then what I would do is, because they're going to say no, I guarantee it. The first time you ask, they're going to say no, unless if your parents are really, 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 I wouldn't really say cool, but unless they've ridden, they're probably going to say no. I will almost guarantee that unless they've ridden and trust you on a bike, they're going to say no. And then what I would do from there is, if you get an allowance, what I would do is I would offer up like half of your allowance per week, per month, whatever you get, per 2 weeks, whatever. If it covers insurance, say, hey, take insurance out of my allowance, and just, if that doesn't work, don't come to them right before Christmas or right before winter and be like, hey, I want a sport bike. They're probably going to say no, just because, it's fucking winter time, or getting to be winter time, and you're not going to have much time to ride. And they're probably going to bring that up, so I'd probably bring it up at like spring, more towards spring. And really, all you can do is hope for the best. If they still say no at spring, when you're 15, try it again at 16 or something. If you're 16, be like, hey mom, hey dad, I'm 16, I'm more mature than I was last year, hopefully. Basically, go up to your mom and dad and be like, hey, you know, insurance for the bike, for example, mine's $40 a month. It's not bad at all. So insurance for the bike is only, say, $60 a month. It's a lot cheaper than a car. And I know it's a little bit more dangerous. The bike itself is, let's say you're looking at a used 250. Sure, 2,000. Here's the bike is just, you know, the bike is $2,000. The gear for the bike will be probably about another $700. So mom, dad, or dad, or mom, or grandpa. In my case, it was great grandma, great grandpa, but whatever. Whoever you're raised by, parents. There we go, parents. I don't know, but you know, I want a sport bike. I want a bike that is going to cost me $2,000. I've looked into gear and stuff. That's going to be another $700. Insurance per month is only about $60, and set limits on it. You know, be like, I'm only going to ride it to school and back, and then a little bit on the weekends, or at first, maybe not even at all on the weekends, and just ride to school and back. And then after you get a little bit more comfortable with it, then talk to your parents again, and assuming that they say yes to you getting it in the first place, and then say, hey, I'm getting a little bit more confident on the bike, can I ride it around town on the weekends? And hopefully they'll say yes to that, and then basically once they say yes to that, you're pretty much golden. The hard part is convincing, you know, you're probably 14 at this point, 14, 15, whatever, 14, 15, 16, 17, maybe some of you are 18, I don't know, 8, you know, whatever. I'm not one to judge. But anyway, if you are there and you're thinking to yourself, hey, well, my mom said that, you know, I can't do whatever I want, so she must hate me. That right there, 14, yeah, you know, you're like 12 to 16-ish, and you're always like, oh, my parents hate me. Oh, fucking bullshit. Your parents love you a hell of a lot. Some parents show it in different ways. Some parents don't show it in the most loving of ways. But god damn it, your parents fucking love you. No, you know, if they say no to you getting a sport bike, it's probably because they fucking love you and don't want to lose you. You know, you flip on the news, you're always seeing something about a sport bike wreck. It's whatever. But some parents are gonna say yes, some parents are gonna say no. And I can't control parents, whatever. You know, I won't talk to them about it, because I mean, that's your thing. You want a sport bike, I want a sport bike for you, but I can't talk to your parents just because, you know, I don't know. It's definitely worth getting though. Sorry, sport bike, dirt bike, cruiser, whatever. Actually, you'd probably be better off asking your parents about a cruiser, but you know, nobody wants a cruiser, so I'm just poking shit. Don't be leaving butthurt comments. But yeah, just kind of, you know, tell me how that works out for you. Hopefully, I'll be seeing you on the road here in a few months, maybe a couple of years, whatever. I will see you guys in the next video.